Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, I have a sword to show you guys, and this sword is extremely good in dungeons, but not only that, this may actually be the best, if not super close to being the best sword in all of Skyblock. So what we're going to start with first, before I get into whether or not it's the actual best sword in Skyblock itself, we're going to start with dungeons. So this weapon does actually come from dungeons. It's a new weapon that, came with the dungeons update, and it's a drop that most people, they haven't really noticed how good this thing is. No one has really, paid attention to how good this thing actually is. Now, before I actually reveal what the weapon is, I do want to say that the person who actually showed this to me was a buddy of mine. He's the one who originally figured out how good this sword actually is. His name is Mr. Nur. And he actually did make a video on this already, so I'm going to have that linked in the description. Definitely make sure to go check that out after you've seen mine. And he's a pretty cool guy. I recommend you drop him a sub as well while you're over there. So by now, I'm sure you're wondering, Zap, just tell us what the sword is already. The sword is the Zombie Soldier Cutlass. Now, this one right here is actually my personal one. I actually maxed it out. Well, I didn't max it out with all the plus level enchants, but I recombobulated it. I put hot potato books and fuming potato books on it. And yeah, I just gave it a bunch of enchants and everything. So yeah, this sword is ridiculous. So when you first take a look at the stats here, you're probably thinking, Zap, it really doesn't look all that good, right? It's got 120 damage, 135 strength. In dungeon, that goes up to 241 damage and 271 strength. But, it just doesn't seem that good. But then you look down towards the bottom. Bonus attack speed 100%. Now this does get you to the max attack speed you can have, and this sword literally has the 100% attack speed by default. So with that, just on its own, right off the bat when you get the sword, you're already attacking at double the speed that you normally attack at. On top of that, it does actually have an ability that is pretty useful. It's called Love Tap, and it heals you for 10 health every time you hit an entity. So that's actually a really good ability right there, especially with the fact that vampirism and lifesteal are heavily nerfed in dungeons. This helps make up for that. Now I do also have a less I guess you could say OP version of this sword. This is basically one that isn't recombobulated. It doesn't have fuming potato books, and this is what I'm going to be using for a lot of the testing, because the thing I'm testing it against is an adaptive blade, which basically has everything the same. All three of these are fabled as well. They're all 5-starred as well. And these two here, these last two, they're not recombobulated, and they both have hot potato books. This guy needs to stop. But yeah, these both have hot potato books, so these are basically the same on what I've done to them. So these are the main two we'll be testing with, but I will show you my personal one here. I'll show you me using my personal one to show you how much potential this thing actually has. So yeah, the adaptive blade is the weapon that pretty much everyone uses right now, as far as I've seen in dungeons. It's kind of the go-to weapon at the moment. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to run through a dungeon and show you guys the difference with these. One thing you should keep in mind though is I actually do run tank in dungeons. So my damage, personally, it's not going to be as high as it would be, for example, if you're a berserker. But yeah, you'll still be able to see the kind of ratio in the difference of the damage between them, and that'll show you how good it is. So we just went ahead and grabbed ourselves a random party here. One thing I would like to know is my tank level itself isn't that high either. I've actually been out of town a lot since dungeons came out, so I haven't had much time to grind yet. Along with that also comes the lower catacombs level, but it shouldn't affect the test too much. What really matters is the ratio between them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a room I can go off to on my own and kind of leave my teammates behind. I guess they haven't gotten the wither key yet. Once we get the wither key, I'm going to go to a room off on my own, and we're going to show you the damage test there. Okay, so with the adaptive blade here, if we actually attack, 114,000, 111, I think that was, 105, 109, 110. Okay, so now let's pull out the cutlass and see what we can do. That one was not a crit. 91, 100k, 94k, 107. Oh, that was a tank. 97, 98. So as you can see, I'm doing almost as much or just as much as I was doing with the adaptive blade using this cutlass, and I can attack with this cutlass twice as fast as I can attack with this adaptive blade. So basically, yeah, it's really good. Now to show you the full potential of it, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull out my personal maxed one and show you guys what I can do with that. So here's some mobs right here with my personal one. 120k, 125k, 120, 117, 121, 117 again. So yeah, as you can see, this thing does some fat damage. It's actually ridiculous how good this thing is, especially against the bosses and stuff. Obviously, a lot of these things you're not attacking multiple times because a lot of the time you can one-shot it. Unless you're in higher floors, then okay, yeah, but this is actually a 4-1. But yeah, especially on bosses, this thing does so much damage. You can just absolutely maul bosses so quickly. And especially so when you're not a tank. Keep in mind that I am a tank, so again, with other classes, you are going to deal more damage with it. It also depends on your catacombs level and all that, but the ratio will stay the same. Alright, so I think I've gotten my dungeon team here to actually agree to let me kill Bonzo on my own. So yeah, I'm going to try to solo him with my cutlass here, and keep in mind I am a tank. So yeah, I could definitely do more damage if I was a berserker or whatever, but here we go. Let's see how fast we can kill him here. I actually don't have an AOTE, so it can be hard to catch up to him, but there we go. So that, I just dropped him extremely quickly there. And it's funny because when you get him into a combo, he actually will stay in the air if you like have him on the wall or something. Like if you look, let me see if I can do it. Oh, he's doing his balloon thing. Yeah, if you look right here. Yeah, and okay, well, I was trying to show you the combo thing there, but I didn't really get a good chance to show it. But either way, I dropped him extremely quickly. And again, I'm only a tank, alright? If you're a different class, you can literally do so much damage with this thing. It's ridiculous. And another thing that I haven't actually mentioned yet, if I go to the auction house and I search for cutlass here, I go to lowest price, and I'll just go on the bins here. Look how cheap these things are. Actually, the prices now are even higher than they were earlier. I saw some selling for like 10k, a lot of them at 10k earlier. And by the way, there are also rare and epic variants of it. The epic version is obviously better, but the rare version should do you pretty good as well. And as far as the prices on the epic ones, there's one for 500k here. A lot of these are around 500 to 700k, it looks like. There are some that are higher, like for a 5-star one, there's a mil there. And actually, I even saw some epics earlier around 200k, so it looks like prices already might be rising. Some people might be actually realizing how good this sword is already, but yeah, it's ridiculous basically, especially with such a cheap price point. But see, now here is where we get to the interesting part. Okay, this is where I tell you that this sword may be the best in all of Skyblock as far as DPS goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch into my superior set here, and we're gonna go ahead and warp to the end here. So I have this gilded Midas here. This is my, personal Midas. It's fully maxed out. It's got the works besides Dragon Hunter. It's recombobulated. It's got gilded on it. It's fumed. It's got everything. It's got all the plus level enchants. It's got the works besides Dragon Hunter. So yeah, it's fully maxed out as far as attacking these Endermen. One thing also, in that dungeon, I actually didn't have a damage pet out. I had a parrot, and I didn't realize that. So I just realized that, and I pulled out this tiger I have. So yeah, we're going to be testing with the tiger now. So if we attack an Enderman, 129k, 129, 129. So yeah, I do believe that this is a flat 129,000. I don't believe it varies at all. And now we're going to go ahead and switch to this cutlass. So with the cutlass, we're going to go ahead and deal 59k, 60k, 64k, 67 almost, 62, 70 right there, 67, 65, 60 basically, 72 almost. Actually, I think I was closer to 71. On a lot of these hits, it's doing more than half of what the Midas is doing. And again, this thing attacks at double the speed of what the Midas does. If you average it out, I think it would come out on average to slightly more than half of the Midas's damage. So that alone already gives it the advantage over Midas. But there's another thing you have to realize here. This cutlass, the only plus level enchant as far as damage goes that it has is critical, while this Midas has every single plus level enchant for damage. So if this cutlass were to actually have all those plus level enchants that the Midas here does, it would be exceeding the DPS that the Midas can put out. Now, by how much, I can't really say unless I actually put those enchants on the sword, but at this time, I'm not really ready to spend that much money on the sword right now. I've actually just spent like 150 mil just recently on a bunch of things. So yeah. But basically, this sword is absolutely insane. And actually, even if I pull out this one here I actually borrowed from my friend. It's not recompobulated, it doesn't have the Fuming Potato books. But if I actually go ahead and attack the Enderman with this, you get the almost 65k right there. 57 there, a 62, 61, 61. So even this on its own comes close to what the Midas is. And this is way cheaper than the recombobulated and fumed one. This cutlass right here my friend made, and it really wasn't all that expensive. The most expensive thing about it was putting the fabled reforge on it. I'm pretty sure he bought this sword for like 200,000 coins. So that's the thing about these swords. They're so ridiculously cheap, and they put out the same or better DPS that a Midas can do. A fully max Midas. This isn't even fully max, and it's putting out just as good DPS as the Midas. So yeah, basically in short, Zombie Soldier Cutlass, ridiculously good. Go buy it right now before the prices shoot up ridiculously high because, well, I don't know, maybe they won't, but I do expect them to go up some after this video goes out. But hey, maybe they won't, maybe they'll still be cheap and y'all can get ridiculously good swords for cheap. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. If you did enjoy or find this useful, I mean, if you didn't find this useful, I don't know what kind of, you must be freaking insane if you don't find this useful. But anyways, yeah, if you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing for more episodes coming soon. I do have a series going on called Lucky Living. It's a really dope series. You should go watch it. I'll put a card on the screen. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my